But one of our participants, Jackie Maloney, she teaches people stage confidence and acting and that sort of thing, and speaking. She shared a video today about how to use Zoom, but she did it in a very amusing way, and she did it more of a what not to do on Zoom, and then she acted out the things not to do on Zoom. It's quite funny, but it's a nice way of teaching people by making people laugh. Because if you can entertain and educate and enlighten, all three, you've really hit the sweet spot. But it's different. Entertaining is probably the hardest one to do. Educating is easy. How to do something. I do a lot of that sort of stuff. How to do such and such on LinkedIn. Here's some stuff. Enlightening is where you're getting people to think about stuff and getting them to think about something. But entertaining is a bit more challenging. But she's nailed that really well. So I recommend you look her up. So that was posted just 2 hours ago. So very, very recent. So have a look at her post.
Jackie's also done a couple of more of them as well. So just have a scroll back through the feed.
Yeah. Now, if you want to look for her post, obviously you go into the search bar at the very top and search for her name. But if you go into someone's profile and you're looking for their content, you go into the articles and activity section. Now, it's going to be a bit laggy as it catches up here. But, so you can do this on desktop or mobile. And you'll scroll down to activity and, whoops, you won't click there because that's not what I wanted to do. And then you click see more and just have a look at their posts. So that's how you find that information. So we click see all up here and then have a look and you'll find all her posts there. And you can do that for anybody. So that's one example. Another example I wanted to share, and I'm not going to share the video either because it's also a video piece of content. So Reg, this is great that people are using video on LinkedIn. Awesome. They're clearly listening to you, I reckon. So another person is Vanessa Garrity, who's one of our participants for LinkedIn Local Perth. And after our last face-to-face event where we talked about what's hot and what's not, she did a bit of a summary post and she created a video where she was talking about what's hot and what's not and what she learned and then her take on that. So that's another way of sharing content. It's not content about her area. I mean, it sort of taps into what she does because she's in marketing. But her audience would find that interesting and useful. So she's relaying the information. So if you think about how you could then put that into place. So if you've attended, like I said, an online conference or a webinar at the moment, and you've learned some great stuff, you might create a video summarizing what you've learned, talking about the thing you've learned, relating it to what your audience, what their problem is. You might be like me, and I do a lot of drawings. I mean, this is not of a webinar. This is for today's planning. But if you see that, I mean, it's quite small. I do a lot of mind mapping. So I will draw things out. And then I might take a photo and share that and then write a post about what it all means. And I've seen a few people that do a lot of sketchnoting type stuff. That can be quite effective. You might create a slide deck of information using a fantastic tool called Canva. Now, Marianne is a Canva expert and trains on this. So if you need to know how to use Canva, speak to Marianne. She is the person to go to. But there's so many tools available to us to create awesome content and make it fun and interesting. I've seen some great posts maybe using Canva or maybe using other tools. But say you put say there's 5 tips. You put them into a slide deck and you've created them, you've created them in PowerPoint, export them as a PDF. Now you can share them as a document post on LinkedIn. So I'll just see if Jackie's got any document posts. I've got her profile open. I'm not sure. No, she hasn't. I'm going to go and just find.
She will now. After this, she will.
Now, one of my connections is a graphic designer in the UK called Dave Officer. He's probably one of my favorite content creators on LinkedIn right now. He shares some humorous content, useful content, but he's really creative. I mean, he's a designer, so you kind of expect it. But if you go look at his stuff, now he's featured his post. This is one of my favorites. It's called the content idea machine. So it's essentially an icon of a washing machine, and he's created a video from some graphics, and it moves very, very fast. So you play the video and you hit pause to get an idea for some content. Now that's a brilliant idea, super simple, and you could easily do that in Canva. So lots of images, duplicate all the images, export it as a video or a document post, and off you go. So there's so much you can do. So yeah, create some content that can help others. So think about your ideal clients, your ideal market, what problem they have, and create something easy to consume and fun. And this is a great time to sort of work on that. So that's content. And now, I think I want to talk about is cleaning up your home feed. So one of the things I love to do. Yeah,
Joe, sure. Just before you go on, I actually just had a thought there. Canva's great for creating content, but also if you've got photographs. So I'm just going to mention Pete. Obviously, Pete and Reg, because Reg with his video, Pete with his photographs. So if you've had some photos done, it doesn't matter, what photographers, but you can bring those into Canva. Then you can do, turn that into a little bit of video or a little bit of a GIF. So it's not just about creating that content on PowerPoint or PicMonkey or Canva or wherever it is. Check the apps that you're using and make sure that you utilize those photographs that you've actually paid for, those professional photographs, because you can manipulate those and design those and create so much content that you never thought that you could ever, create before.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. There's so much you can do to get, and that way you get to repurpose your content too.
Absolutely.
Get creative, make it personal, because the more you can put your face in your content or your images in your content or your video in your content, the more your brand is getting out there, rather than using, boring stock images or even images with, like clip art and that sort of thing. Not clip art, but, elements from Canva, for instance. That's nice, but it's not you. If you can put your slant on that. Awesome. So thanks for adding that, Marianne.